Okay, so let's take a look at a macro chart and mark out our key high time frame levels around the swing points and support and resistance zones that we see. And we're going to be using Litecoin versus the US dollar. We're starting on a monthly. And we're going to be utilizing the replay tool by TradingView. Nice little feature they have. And this is going to allow us to see the price action currently, but not the future. So it's going to be a good way for us to test, are the areas I'm marking out accurate? And the more you start to do this, just like anything, practice makes perfect. So let's get right to it with time frame analysis. Live example, Litecoin on a monthly chart. So I'm going to take my horizontal tool and I'm going to start right here, right? This is an obvious swing high, very large spike up, coming back down. Let's mark that. And interesting enough, it kind of marks right here with a breakout point. Let's take a look at another key point. I would say right here. Here we have almost like a consolidation zone, right? A swing high. Here we're breaking above it, and it's an interesting spot. I'm also going to mark out this swing high. You can see as price broke above it, the bottom of these candles is respecting it. Yes, we did dip into here, but it was an impulse off. And this is also a swing high right here, and our wick kind of broke above it, and this candle is looking to be pretty bullish, the start of it. So let's mark out that. And we can take our text tool, and let's just mark these off as our monthly SRs, right? And we copy and paste these down into their respective areas. And don't be afraid to mark off a lot of levels, guys. This is how we learn, train the eye. And so here we have our monthly levels for Litecoin that we like. There's 4 of them. Let's take a look at the weekly. And by the way, you can double click this line, go to visibility, and check off which you want to see. Because as we drop our time frame to a weekly and then eventually a daily, we'll be able to see these monthly levels. And as we talked about, the high time frame is going to hold the most weight. So these monthly levels should provide as nice areas where we think the buyers are going to come in and the sellers are going to come in. And we're going to drop our time frame to lower daily and really hone in on the candle structures and look at swing points and see what those buyers and sellers are doing at those levels. So we're looking pretty good right here. Let's drop this to a weekly. And we can already start to see that the monthly levels we marked off are pretty interesting on a weekly basis. Now let's see if there's anything on a weekly we really want to hone in on here. So right here was the swing high. We see that price respected this monthly SR. The buyer stepped in, we took out this swing high, and we came down to almost retest it right here. And this acted as support. So let's kind of take that swing high right there. And let's leave it like that for now. Let's call this our weekly SR. And I like this. I like what we have marked, and let's go back to our monthly. Here we go. We see everything that we marked. We're ready. If we're looking to be a position trader or a swing trader using macro level charts around high time frame, this is what we're looking to do. And we're going to get into that later as we go into the different types of trading styles. And also just kind of in the back of your mind, think about what kind of trader do I want to be? Do I like this longer term trading strategy? I'm looking at high time frame levels, or as we go into the lower time frame strategies, do I want to be a scalper or a day trader? And let's start to play some price action and see what happens. Oh, look at that. I mean, that's a very large impulse up. And now we have possibly a swing high, right? I mean, this is a very large wick. We know that sellers kind of stepped in hard here. We've established a lower high here. And here's our low. And a lower low. So we know right now, if we go back to our market structure analysis video, this is bearish market structure on a monthly view. Let's drop our time frame to a daily. And let's start to look at what is going on here. Well, here's our monthly SR that we marked out, right? Let's really get into the details here. We took out this swing high. We broke above it. Here we have an SR flip breaking above it. What should this resistance be? Well, it should be support. Now, obviously, this is not going to be perfect, but for a monthly SR level and someone looking to get into a possible position, either looking at a long entry right here, we can start to see that this long lower wick is suggesting the buyers are in control. Price pushes up, comes back down, almost making equal lows. And where are they? Right at our SR flip. If we look at a daily, if we look at a weekly, look, very nice weekly candles. So our monthly SR has proven support as of now. Let's play a little more. So right here, what just happened? Well, we broke through a monthly SR. Let's see what happened on the daily. I mean, look at this. Monthly SR. Here's our next monthly SR we're going to be focusing on, but let's look at this. Buyers. Very nice. Beautiful long entry off this SR flip. As we're coming down here, we can see support is being respected. But what do we know about support? Well, it's finite, and there's only so many buyers in a demand zone. As we can see, prices come back into it here. But what are we doing? We're making lower highs right here and here. And this, consolidation zone right here, call it our range high. We have established a swing high. Our low, what happens? Well, we have a large impulse down through it, and we have now flipped a monthly SR. Resistance, support, resistance. And as we spoke about in market structure analysis videos, what can range-bound and consolidation markets lead to? Continuation or reversal. If I were to guess, it looks like continuation of a bearish market structure right now. So let's let this play out. And look at that. Here we're making new lows. And price is coming into what? What is this? Let's take a look at our monthly chart. A monthly SR. Below that, we have a weekly SR right here. Below this, we have another monthly SR. So let's focus on these levels as we're looking at the daily chart and see what our buyers and sellers are doing around them. Here we've established an initial support for now. We're dropping below it, coming back above it. Looks to be breaking down here as we're making lower highs, lower lows. And what did we just tap? We broke through a weekly SR right here. And what is this? Let's go back to our monthly. Well, I see a pretty nice monthly candle right here at a key SR. Let's play a little more. Support is acting as it should for now, and look at that. How could we have identified this on a daily level for a potential long in a swing trade? Back up into a possible resistance zone with an SR, or maybe we're targeting here. But let's look at the daily. Nice long lower wick. And what are we seeing here? We're seeing almost a rounded bottom. and we have established kind of our range high here and a swing high. Well, we have a very nice candle right here. Buyers suggesting that they want to push price higher. Sellers need to get out of the way. We've taken out a range high. We've taken out a swing high. We have our swing low. We have made a higher low and a higher high. Now here's our next area of resistance, which as we can see was our kind of support zone, which broke down. Initial reaction right here is pushed back down as it should. Support has become resistance. Let's see what's going to happen here. And look at that. Here we have now reclaimed an SR where we had a breakdown. Let's see what price does. And boom. This area, or even this area, or even this area on a higher low, if I'm a position trader or swing trader, I know that this was a key monthly support and resistance zone. I know that this was an SR flip on a monthly, and we reclaimed it. And look at that. Look at this. Beautiful retest. Taking out this high, this swing high, with a massive impulse up. And we're looking at our next resistance zone here. And let's go back to our monthly and see what this is all looking like. Gorgeous. It's really amazing how this stuff works. So here's our monthly SR. Let's see what price is going to be doing into it. Initial reaction. Is it going to break it? Oh, we're popping through it. We've come back up through it. And we're not holding it. So this is now resistance. And let's see what the daily is showing us. Here we broke above, we retested it, potential long, playing it into a supply zone. Here's our breakdown, coming back down into our support, and what happens? Boom, we're right back into our monthly SR as support has become resistance. And look at these wicks. Look at these wicks. I mean, talk about potential short entries or selling out of a long position. Let's see how this unfolds. Coming back down into a support zone, holding it and kind of staying above it, breaking below it, coming back into a key level right here, very key level. And look at that. Let's keep playing. Beautiful long entry. So switch back to the monthly. And look at that. We marked out levels on a monthly chart for support and resistance around key swing points. We dropped our time frame to a weekly. We looked at it on a daily, went into detail about what the buyers and sellers were doing at those key levels. Looked at candlestick structure. We saw long lower wicks where the buyers were stepping in. We saw wicks to the upside where the sellers were stepping in, all at key monthly and weekly levels. Monthly being the most important as the high time frame holds the most weight. So this was a great example looking at Litecoin versus the US dollar, starting with a monthly, marking out our weekly, and dropping to a daily while identifying key levels where our buyers and sellers could potentially be. And as I said, is this something that you find yourself doing in the future as a longer term trading strategy where we're looking for key swing points around the high time frame levels? Or do you want to be a lower time frame trader looking at scalping and day trading? And on that note, let's take a look at a low time frame example. Okay, so let's get into a low time frame example, and we're going to be looking at Ethereum versus the US dollar on a 4-hour chart. And we're going to be doing the same things we just did with the monthly and weekly and dropping to a daily. We're going to mark out our key levels on a 4-hour where we think the support and resistance levels are around swing points. We'll be using the replay tool, so let's get right to it. Okay, so let's actually kind of make this a little bigger. to see what some past levels are and what we're looking at. We're going to focus in on this area here. So right off the bat, I see this as a breakdown. This was also support. Price is going above it, comes back down. Here we have the resistance as acts support, and it's a springboard to a very nice uptrend. So right there, based on the past, and also this kind of range consolidation area, key breakdown, very key point in price. So I'm marking that off, and I'm going to be calling this a 4-hour SR, right? Here is a support zone, which was a pivotal point as we broke down out of it. And we can see that we retested it right here. So another one. Let's take that, copy and paste it. Right there. And we can see here, price was support, consolidation, breakdown. So let's mark that off. And let's look at these areas. Also this one here too, we see that price kind of, here we have a low, a lower low, a lower low, but we made an impulse back up here. So let's mark this. It's kind of we're retesting it here. We're not really sure what's going to happen. And let's mark that off. And I'm pretty happy with these 4-hour levels, right? So this is going to be more a lower time frame trading strategy approach. This could be day trading, this could be scalping. And we're going to watch this on a 15-minute to see, what's the candle structure doing? Are the buyers stepping in? Are the sellers stepping in? So let's play some price and see what happens. So our 4-hour SR is acting as resistance. And let's focus right here, okay? So we marked this off as a SR. Here was support. We have a breakdown, it acted as resistance, possibly a short setup here. Let's dial in on the 15-minute. Oh, remember what we got. Low time frame, visibility, and we're gonna see these on the minutes, right? This is key to really dialing in, are the levels accurate? And are these marked on minutes? Yes, they are. Okay, so let's get back to our 15-minute chart. Let's see what's going on here. Here is our support. Here is basically our breakdown point from that support, right? We can see that we have support, we dip below it. We've now made a swing high. We broke down, and look at this. Here we're retesting a support has become resistance. Potential short entry, selling out of a long position. This is an area we have identified. It's key. Here we're coming down, we're making new support. Looks like we're coming to retest this zone again, but again, it's a lower high. As we're moving forward, we're approaching this SR level, which we marked on a 4-hour. And look at this. Here, we're breaking above it, coming up. And what are we doing? We're retesting a resistance zone that is now future support. Great potential long entry, scalping. Let's see what this move would have been, right? This is all shorter time frame stuff, guys. Hey, 6% move on an SR flip, buying a first test of a support zone. Not too bad. Here we can see we dip below it. Oh, what is this? We're coming back above it here, and we have very nice bullish market structure. Let's go back to our 4-hour. Look how pivotal this level is. So now we're coming back into what? Oh, a breakdown SR. Our consolidation zone, our swing high, price is breaking down. Let's see what price does into it. Resistance is acting as it should. And again, these are not lines in the sand. These are not perfect. We can start to add, kind of zones here. And we're going to get into that as we spoke about DBS zones, right? This area is where demand buyers support. This is a SSR, right? We have a breakdown, resistance, supply, seller resistance. Now, we can see here, we've established a swing high. What are we doing as price comes back into it? Well, it looks like it's acting as resistance. Let's drop on a 15-minute to see what kind of clues we could get around that. Wow, we look at this. Not a bad wick up. Let's see some other areas. We can see these wicks. These wicks here, the sellers are stepping in. This is a clear supply zone. And this is kind of like the turning point right here, right? We're looking at a 15-minute candle. So, point of breakdown, another point of breakdown. We have our highs here, making a lower high. Short entry, selling out of long positions. And here we have a clear SR flip. Our support is now going to become resistance, as this is an SR breakdown. So let's play it. Another breakdown. Let's move back to our 4-hour. It's going to be quicker as we look at it. Let's see what our levels are doing. Is price going to come back into our SR level? Let's see. Here, look at this. Look at that. We had a range high, we broke above it, we retested it. We tested an SR, we failed. Didn't make above it here. We're retesting support. And let's look at this candle. So here's your 4-hour candle. Long lower wick, buyer's very present. Let's see what it looked like on a 15-minute chart. I'd say the sellers ran out of steam there. So now we have established a swing low. So whether or not you took a long here or you waited for a higher low, but we're kind of consolidating right here, but this is giving us an area to gauge as we look at our trading setups going forward for where I'm going to get into my, basically my LTE. Zoran's going to go over that level trigger entry. And where am I going to put my stop loss? What is a stop loss? You should get excited as we get into these later sections and you start to grasp looking at market structure analysis, time frame analysis, marking out the higher time frames, dialing in our lower time frames like this. So let's see what the 15 minutes is going to show us. Kind of ranging here. We're going to be looking to challenge kind of this point of breakdown or hold these lows. And you can see that this is establishing kind of a range here, right? We're in a consolidation phase. Is this going to lead to expansion or contraction? In this case, continuation of the bearish market structure that we have just seen. And the best way to get really good at this stuff is watch charts, watch price action. You're going to start to pick up on clues and patterns, and you're going to train your eye on what is it that you really are looking for. And let's speed this up on the 4-hour. Again, guys, I don't know what's going to happen, so this is real-time stuff. We can see here that we have our lows. We have a swing low. This impulse candles down, not looking too hot, but let's see what happens. Ooh, we're bouncing off another 4-hour SR. I mean, does it get any cleaner? But what do we know? about support and resistance? Well, we know it's finite, and there's a lot of tests of support here. How many buyers are at a demand level? They're not infinite. So let's see what happens. We're kind of ranging here, which is this nice 4-hour SR buyer support. Sellers right here. I mean, here we are testing another key 4-hour SR. Let's go to our 15-minute. Again, potential short entry, right? What do we do at resistance in a supply zone? Well, we want to be sellers. And look at that. And we can see prices going down. And what happened at our support level? Well, what do we want to be in a demand zone at support? We want to be buyers. And we can see that this SR was respected. So let's go back to our 4-hour. Let's close that out. And let's look at what we just witnessed. We marked out some key points on a 4-hour chart, looking at support and resistance zones around swing points, swing lows. We have established our areas of importance where we think these sellers are and the buyers are. And we dropped our time frame to a 15-minute, and we really got into the detail of the candle structure and swing points around the buyers interacting with these 4-hour levels on a lower time frame. So by dropping to a 15-minute chart after marking out our 4-hour levels, we could start to identify potential exits and entries on lower time frame trading strategies such as scalping or day trading. And we're going to leave it there for now, but I hope that's a good view on how we're looking at time frame analysis and how we utilize it going forward. So let's do a recap and go over everything we just went over in time frame analysis. Well, we learned that we want to start with our high time frame macro levels. This is going to help us identify where the buyers and sellers are around key swing points and support and resistance levels. We know that the macro levels are going to have more weight than the lower term micro levels. By identifying our macro levels, we can then drop our time frame to identify other swing points and SR levels. And this is going to help us dial in our trade setups as we look at things like entries and exits, and things such as LTE level trigger entry, which is going to be a concept that Zorn is going to go into next. But the real takeaway is, let's pick a strategy based on the proper time frame. And the proper time frame in the sense of what kind of trader do you want to be? And if I'm looking at lower time frame scalping strategies and day trading, I'm going to be using a lower time frame, such as the 4-hour, and dropping to a 15-minute. But if I want to be a more longer term trader and looking at macro levels around position trades and swing trades, I'm going to be focusing on those higher time frames like monthly, weekly, and daily. So I hope that's a good overview and recap of time frame analysis. And let's move on to the next section.